Hello, and thank you for tuning in. The title and topic of my ethnographic presentation is Muslim Foodways, the intersection of Islam, soul food, and American culture. For this presentation assignment, I decided to focus on the ways in which religion informs food culture. There is a link between religion and food where food rules are most strongly adhered to. More than other factors such as peer influence, household dynamics, or the quest for cultural capital within a particular food space, religion prescribes a strict set of instructions for ways in which believers should interact with food, shaping dietary practices, rituals, and community gatherings. Religion can decide what foods are fit and unfit for consumption, the proper methods of preparation, prescribe gender roles, and set community rules for commensality. This presentation will explore the influences of the Islamic faith on Black Muslims living in America, specifically focusing on how Black Muslims in America honor Southern soul food culture while abiding by the pillars of the Islamic faith. As with many religions, food is a major focal point in Islamic holidays, celebrations, and even during times of mourning. Two Muslim holidays, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, are festivals of breaking of the fast. Eid al-Fitr is celebrated at the end of Ramadan, a month when many adult Muslims fast. Eid al-Adha is considered the holier of the two Eid holidays and commemorates the end of the Hajj, or annual pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia. Each of these celebrations include the word feast and are celebrated with large gatherings and elaborate amounts of food shared among family and friends. During Ramadan, the daily fast is broken at sunset when close family and friends gather for iftar. Moments of shared commensality rooted in religious teachings of Islam make these gatherings very important and serve to strengthen bonds and grow in a faith together as a Muslim community. Islamic faith restricts certain foods from the Muslim diet, thereby forbidding their consumption. These foods include alcohol, pork, carrion, which refers to any animal that is dead and rotting, the meat of carnivores, and meat that is haram. Haram meat includes any meat from an animal that has died due to illness, torture, or that has been poorly treated. Any animal that is poisoned, has died due to injury, or that has not been slaughtered in the name of God is also forbidden from consumption. During the era of the pro-Black and soul revolutions of the 1960s and 70s, influential Black leaders like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and comedian turned activist Dick Gregory wrote books on healthier ways for Blacks to eat. Within Muslim culture, the Nature of Islam was the most influential group of Black followers of Islam during this time. Nation of Islam leader, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, wrote a book called How to Eat to Live, which was a guide instructing Black Muslims in America on the right way to eat. Not only were they to avoid alcohol and pork, Blacks were also instructed to avoid sea scavengers like crabs, shrimp, and oysters, and most varieties of beans, and also many tree nuts. The idea was to purify the body of Black men from generations of food filth or poison given to the Black community. The use of food as a symbol of social activism was at its height during the 1960s and 70s, and Black Muslims were on the forefront of that movement. When you think about soul food, what items come to mind? Probably some hot Southern fried chicken, collard greens, cornbread, and baked mac and cheese are some of the most popular dishes. Pork is also a very significant ingredient within soul food cuisine, whether it's bacon, a slab of ribs, or smoked parts used to season a pot of greens. Pork is an undeniable staple in the Black soul food space. Black Sunni soul food is a traditional Southern fare that has been, get ready for a new buzz term, Halified, but it still has all of its soul. There are over 1.6 million Muslims living in America. That's between 30 and 40% of all Muslims in the country. Despite the large population of Black Muslims, the food at social gatherings and served at mosques showcase Southern Asian and Arab cuisine writ large. In an age of digital communication and social media, Black and brown Muslims in the United States have started an online movement to black out major Muslim holidays and communal celebrations to bring awareness to food and culture of American Muslims of African descent. The goal of the Sunni soul food movement is to black out and halify Muslim events with the culture and food traditions that are reflective of the people in attendance, thereby capturing African American, South Asian, and Arab food traditions on a single plate. What happens when a food item that many consider to be the star of most soul food dishes is forbidden from consumption by the rules of one's religion? Black Muslims in America stand at the intersection of religion and deeply rooted food traditions. They have cultivated a unique food space that honors both the pillars of their faith and Southern cooking techniques and traditions. Taking influences from South Asian culture, it is common to see halal kebabs on a plate with collards and mac and cheese and a slice of cornbread. The collards are cooked and smoked in turkey parts, usually a neck or leg, in lieu of pork, which is haram or forbidden in Islamic culture. We also see culinary influences from Caribbean and Arab cultures with the use of lamb and goat in Black Muslim soul food. In addition to another staple, rice, many meals incorporate the use of couscous or lentils. And instead of sweet potato pie, bean pies are abundant at Black Muslim events throughout America, especially in Muslim communities where the teachings of the Nation of Islam were once very influential. Women in the Muslim community during the Civil Rights Movement started to bake and sell bean pies as a form of social activism and a means to affect economic influence within their communities. This tradition of making bean pies endures as a nod to the economic empowerment and ongoing quest for social justice within the Black community. It is considered an honor or rite of passage when a teenage Black Muslim girl gets the recipe for and begins making her own bean pies. In an article titled One Muslim's Take on Soul Food, the author Zahra Nasruddin Jamal describes the food practices in Islam as deeply spiritual, environmental, and moral acts that enable the subordination of the ego, the cultivation of communal life and identity, and the individual's connection to the Creator and the creation. Shared experiences through interfaith connections are centered around food in the Islamic religion, whether through fasting from food and water during Ramadan or breaking bread during holidays and celebrations. The focus stays on doing what is best for the community and not on individual deeds. Black and brown people in America bring with them a unique food culture that is worthy of being shared with the Muslim community and the world at large. The same prerequisites apply for making Sunni soul food that exist in all Southern soul food staples like mac and cheese, homemade biscuits, and baking bean pies. At least 3 Ramadans and 20 years of experience are needed when volunteering to cook for holidays and celebrations. Within Black Muslim communities, the religion informs food rules, and the Black and brown people inform culinary traditions, thereby creating a space where religion and food traditions coexist, both having great significance and importance. Food is very much performance and a devout expression of belief in the teachings of the Muslim faith. It is not just about what's on the plate that matters. Who prepared the food, what is prepared, which of course is in accordance with the Islamic law, what ingredients were used, were they sourced at a local Muslim butcher or produce shop, and how much food, usually in abundance, all demonstrate a commitment to improving the well-being of the community and a deep connection to the Islamic faith. Muslim women in Black communities work constantly to build relationships and create networks that will be prosperous and used for the greater good of everyone. Much of this happens in the food space at bakeries and shared cooking spaces, preparing meals for community events and social initiatives. During my research on this topic, I found some text that summarizes the role of women in the Muslim food space. It reads, "Food preparation and exchange are vital communicative processes. Women who are generous with food, who understand the dietary requirements of the community, and have extensive social networks are credited with having a greater understanding of the faith. It is through food networks that women gain membership into various overlapping social networks, and it is through these social networks that women developed organized systems of exchange." The intersection of food and faith continues to be a deeply spiritual and social set of practices that govern the followers of Islam. Sunni soul food honors the culinary cuisine of Black Muslims in America that is centered around maintaining a strict adherence to the pillars of the Islamic faith. Food traditions rich with Southern American culture, taking influences from South Asian and Arab cuisine, and infused with food items born out of the years of the civil rights and social activism in the United States, have been uniquely sewn together to create a type of cuisine that's representative of more than half of the Muslim followers in the U.S. Sunni Soul Food says both power to the people and all praises to Allah on one flavorful plate. Thank you for your time and listening to my presentation.